At the top of the month, an independent journalist, AJ Benza, would make an appearance on Ask Dr. Drew and reported that it was the COVID vaccine that led to Jamie Foxx's recent medical complication, which had kept the actor in the hospital for some time. According to NBC News, the rep for Fox said Benza's report is completely inaccurate. While on Dr. Drew's show, Benza told the host that his source inside the room with Foxx told him that the actor was left partially paralyzed and blind after he was forced to get a booster shot before filming his new movie. Now that we know that this isn't true, the question on the condition of Jamie Foxx remains in the air. Today we have our company hype analyst, Pierre, along with very special guest, Marcus Board, to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
He did not want the shot, but the movie he was on, he was pressured to get it. And I'm thinking, is that why he blew up on the set a week before this? Is that why he fired 3 or 4 people because he just had it with these mandates? I don't know. What I found out from the man in the room was that the blood clot in the brain caused him at that point to be partially paralyzed and blind. If you read into what they were saying early on, he's communicating with us. That doesn't mean talking. That could be anything.
Now, it's been a lot of speculations. We've been seeing Pierre, 1 minute he's good, 1 minute he's not. Now his family is coming to clarify this. I'd love to get your thoughts. When you saw that come to the surface, Pierre, what was your reaction to it?
To be honest with you, I was shocked, amazed, and surprised how bad AJ Benza looks now. That nigga, he looks terrible, okay? I don't know if you ever see him before, like 15 years ago. He does not look like this. I thought that was AJ Benza's grandfather. And talking about blind and blown up, I think he might be talking about himself. But AJ Benza has always been the kind of guy that's looking for that kind of dirt. And that's why he's almost ran out of New York. He was part of the whole socialite area about 15, 20 years ago, making a lot of reports. A lot of people started pushing him away because of some of his false, statements he's done. And again, to say, that's what happened, he has his sources. Everyone has sources. Either they say or the sources. To me, to say it was the COVID shot, it wasn't the COVID shot, whatever. We really got to sit back and, I'm not going to keep on speculating about another man's health. When he comes out and tells us how he feels, it's finally cool. I don't worry myself about what he's going through right now, Jamie Foxx. As far as what it is, I want him to get better from whatever it is, but to worry about what it is, why it came, if it's playing pickleball, if he's got a stroke, a heart attack, whatever it is, I just want that brother to get better, get back on the screen and do what he does that we like so much. And that's cool. I'm at that point with it, but I don't really, I don't need to know exactly what happens, every day. I'll go along with what they say, and until, he speaks on it, we'll know 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus, let me bring you in. Thank you for joining us on these segments. Same thing, I'd love to get your reaction when you saw this news break. What was your reaction to it?
I'm really skeptical about COVID deniers or people who are saying that the vaccine is, causing problems. I know that there is a small percentage of folks who do have adverse reactions, but to Pierre's point, my big thing is the man okay? Is he healthy? Is his family okay? Is he taken care of? That's got to be priority one. And it's just as somebody who cares about Black people and some of the misinformation that we've been getting, I just hope, and I'm glad to be a part of a channel that doesn't play games in that space, right? You may get misinformation, but then we'll, like we're doing right now, come back and correct it. And I think that's really important. Media responsibility, I think, plays a really big role here. Trying to get the story, trying to get the scoop is causing problems that, I just don't. Maybe I just know the wrong people, but I don't know anybody that desperate to find out exactly what it was that hurt Jamie Foxx, as opposed to people who are just like, hey, I hope he's good. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm hanging around the wrong people.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen people talk about it and say they're reaching out to everybody they know in their circle. If I see another headline that says, according to a close source, I'm probably going to lose my mind there. But Marcus, let me start with you on this, and then Pierre, I'll come to you. I think you mentioned it, or both of you mentioned, the family has made a few statements, but we keep hearing these other things, according to a close source, and, all these things. Do you think any of the responsibility falls on the family to kind of keep the audience, his fans, people that love him, people that have supported him over the years, that helped him, get to where he is now? Do you think there's any responsibility that falls back on the family, so that we're not getting all this misinformation and, heartaches, if you will? Marcus, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I can see why someone might think that. I personally don't. I think Jamie Foxx chose to be a public figure. His family didn't necessarily. And so a family, in my opinion's responsibility is only to themselves. The family takes care of themselves. They're taking care of him. I'm sure their priority is making sure that he's okay in life, whether or not he goes and makes money and makes jokes and does things outside of the world. So I don't personally think that. His team, maybe. But if you're trying to chase down every rumor that everybody says about everyone, I mean, I've seen some of the comments on our last post and I was like, I can't respond to all of these. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't put that on the family either in their time of crisis. Like that just ain't it for me.
Yeah. Pierre, let me come to you now. We've seen a post go up on Jamie Foxx's story, that it made it seem it was coming from him. We've also heard from his daughter that he was playing pickleball. Do you think any of this responsibility falls back on his family or his team to update his fans, being that, we're hearing sources that he's not doing well, but then his family says he's doing well one moment, and it just seems like a lot of misinformation being put out there. What do you think, Pierre?
I agree with Marcus, but I also say it's the responsibility of Jamie Foxx. What Jamie wants to give us, she gives us. It's no one else's responsibility to give us something about his health, his personal thing. It's up to him, not his team, not his daughter, not his family. It's up to him. Jamie Foxx will say, hey, this is what I want to go out, or this is why I don't want to go out. Now, when they step outside of him or someone steps outside of him and does their own thing, that's irresponsible to me. You know what I'm saying? If it's not coming from Jamie saying, tell him this, tell him that, and they decide, I want to try this, I want to try that. That's irresponsible. And that can be reckless. It can, divert people certain ways. If Jamie doesn't want anybody to really know what's going on, then he says, no, don't say nothing. It's his responsibility, not about us. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we like him and some people love him, and they want to know how well he's doing, but it's not our responsibility to know that. We just want to know, I get it, just to feel good. But what happens if he's not in a place that he wants to speak about it like that? You just don't want to talk about it right now. Why do we need to know? Why is that? There's a lot of stuff in your family right now, in our families right now, that we need to take care of. We don't need to worry about him. We need to take care of your own damn self. Now, so when he decides to give a statement out of his mouth, then there it is. So I think he's responsible for that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you both. I think the most important thing is just sending him well wishes, sending him positive energy. All the speculations, I think, is going to continue. Unfortunately, that's just the time that we're in. Everybody wants that headline that's going to go viral. But yeah, no, from our team to Jamie Foxx's team and family, we send, well wishes and positive energy and just love to him. We appreciate all the things he's done thus far. So just giving him all that love back. All right, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And actually, when we come back, Marcus Board is going to take over for No Capital because D.L. Hughley reacts to Donald Trump's second indictment. We'll be back right after this.
Culture sounds like shea butter, like kente cloth, like hot sauce, like a hug with two pats and a slide, like pride, like a hair bucket with oils and ribbons and bows, like my forces are all white, but my mama black.
Welcome back to Comedy Hype. This is your segment, No Capital. I'm Marcus Board. Starting off with news of Donald Trump's indictment hitting the headlines, second indictment. Everyone has offered up their own commentary. The commentary comes from the shock that Trump is not legally prohibited from running for president from prison or as a convicted felon. Legally, as a convicted felon, he cannot run. Comedian D.L. Hughley, who's known for speaking out when it comes to issues like this, did not hold his tongue. On Instagram, Hughley would say, wait a minute. So a convicted felon can still run for president, but in most states in America, a convicted felon can't vote for one. Make it make sense, America. So that's what we got today. DL's a little off in the sense that Trump is not convicted. He's been indicted on 37, 38 counts. I don't want to get that wrong, get his lawyers on us. But I think one of the big questions that we have to ask ourselves is, what is the challenge that we're facing as a country when the Republican Party keeps putting forward Trumps and DeSantis's, people who are right there in the middle of January 6th, right? People who are pushing convicted felons out of the electorate like Florida tried to do, people who are challenging us and challenging the Democratic Party in ways that make us have to rethink our strategies and approaches to electoral politics. These are things that we can't necessarily play around with, right? I had a scholar friend, Barbara Ransby, one time explain the difference between Trump and Hillary Clinton at the time, which obviously they're wildly different, but in explaining what the type of voter would need to do to vote for Hillary Clinton, it's the difference between an offensive and a defensive battle. And so she was saying with Trump, we'd be fighting a defensive battle, as we saw. We had to protect our judges. We had to protect our money. We had to protect immigrants. We had to protect everybody. And we couldn't actually fight an offensive battle like we are with Biden and like we would have with Hillary Clinton. How do we get more for people? How do we support people better? And so those differences, I think, are really the baseline of what we have here. But Pierre, what's your take, man? What you got? Tell me about Trump, your boy DJT.
DJT, wow. My boy too, I love it. I think we're coming to a time in the last 20 years that the Black votership has risen, exponentially. We've seen a lot more Black voters and even minority voters come out and vote. And I think the legacy of old white men being presidents is being challenged big time. When Hillary almost won, pretty much. I think she won. Obama won. And the old folks and people who are white, they look like the presidents that's been going, for years, are seeing that they might lose the grip of what they had. And they're willing to do any and everything. Vote for somebody they don't like, just because they don't look like they look like the person that looks like their family members and so forth. Don't care what they're running on. They just don't want it to change. And they're willing to do anything, vote anything. And it's just up to us, Black people and minorities, to really get out there and vote harder and stronger, because the fight is strong right now. I believe if we fight and continue to fight like we are, within the next 20 years, it'll be a major, major shift. White men won't even be having a chance. They won't, white American men won't really have a chance. Not have a chance, but they'll be low on it. It'll be an even scale against women and Asian foreigners or whatever, Asians, whatever you're saying, Black people, all that together will be pretty much evenly tilted. You know what I'm saying? Together. So I believe that they're seeing that and they're afraid of it. They're losing their grip of America. And they've seen it in the last 20 years. And now they're really, like I said, willing to vote for any and everybody, even Trump again. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring him back again. It made them feel a certain way when he was there. Minorities didn't like it too much, but white people felt secure with a person like that. He was reckless, he was, ridiculous. And DeSantis is kind of weird that he's voting, getting people who, he's putting what do you call it? I can't think of it. What's it called? Stuff on ballots and laws that prohibit people that to vote for him, kind of, basically.
So let me chime in. Marcus, let me ask you this, so right now Trump is actually leading the Republican poll. Why do you think we're seeing that? Why do you think, and I think Pierre kind of hit on, his thoughts there a little bit, and Pierre, I'll allow you to expand if you like. But Marcus, let me ask you, why do you think we're seeing that Trump is in the lead despite, I think you said, and I'll say allegedly or reportedly, 37 to 38 indictments? Why do you think that is?
Well, America has always been a white supremacist country. So Donald Trump has shown a proven track record of a willingness to at least publicly endorse segments of the community, white communities, that haven't been supported for a very long time. So it's actually a really interesting dynamic in that as America has made progress, white rural Americans who people used to take care of are not necessarily being taken care of anymore. So as Black people, as women, as other immigrant communities are starting to be more supported by the United States, now you can't necessarily go off to some random place in the middle of South Dakota and get your full fire department, police department, and medical services, right? And so there's this really big shift in how the country is actually operating, and that makes people like Donald Trump, who says, I care about you and what matters to you, that makes him more appealing to them. Is he actually doing anything for them? That's the catch-22. No, he's not actually changing things in their lives, but it makes them feel better to see somebody on TV talking and being an asshole. And so, Symphony, I would say one of the big issues that we're having with Trump is that the media is playing an outsized role in putting him in the spotlight. And so we saw just recently the CEO, I think, of CNN just got let go because he gave him a town hall and let him just run amok in that space. So for you, as somebody who's a veteran in this space, how do you think the media has a responsibility and journalists have a responsibility to get this story right, but also to not spotlight him?
Yeah, no, I think media plays a huge role. As you know, media, anybody who controls media pretty much controls everything, right? I feel like, unfortunately, at this time, headlines, people want to run with the headlines. Nobody reads the article, right? That's what I like to say. Trump is a headline GOAT. People love him because they know they're going to get eyes. They're going to get, people are going to be attracted to it. When you look at COVID during that time, a lot of these outlets were running Trump headlines because they knew Trump was going to bring in the numbers. So unfortunately, he fits into the time that we're in where people love headlines. These outlets love headlines, so they're running with it. But I do think a lot of responsibility does fall on media and these journalists to make sure that they're getting the story right and that we're not just pushing it for the headline because we know Trump is going to do that. So I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely agree that media plays a huge role in journalists. But Pierre, before we head out, I know I didn't get a chance to hear from you. And Marcus, I appreciate that question as well. Pierre, let me come to you. I know you mentioned a little bit of why you feel like Trump is leading on the Republican side, but I love if you can expand or if there's anything extra that you'd like to say. Why do you think we're seeing that? And are you even surprised that Trump is leading? Like, is it a surprise?
No, not really. Like I said, and Marcus said it so eloquently that white supremacy, is being challenged. With so many other people getting a chance to sit at the table from foreigners, like the LGBT community, women, and all that is getting on the table, and regular white men and white women who are, like I said, fall maybe in the spectrum of white supremacists. They just feel like, hey, I got to get my man back in there. I felt more comfortable when he was in there, as the president. So I think that's why. And there's a lot of them out there. Just because they don't have missing teeth and shit kickers and some overalls, don't think they're not white supremacists. Some people that you're working with right now at work that feel that way. When they go in that ballot, that ballot booth is all different in there. They smile with you and kiki with you at work, sisters and foreigners and LGBT people, but in that booth, there's a different button they push.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm very interested to see how this pans out. Something I also like to add, and Marcus, I think this is something to add to your question as well. As much as it falls on the media, I think it falls on the people as well. We have to continue to challenge, and I think Pierre mentioned this earlier. A lot of people are starting to speak up. We're starting to see a lot of black voters and people kind of challenging the system. So I do think it is up to us to realize when we see BS, to stop bringing our eyes to it, stop, adding value there. So as much as a lot falls on the media, it falls on the people as well. So I think we'll see how the people let this one pan out as we continue to move forward closer to the election. Now we're gonna take a quick break. And again, once we come back, we have another update about DC Young Fly. He delivers a heartfelt message over the weekend at Jackie O's funeral. So we're gonna take a look and we'll be right back right after this.
Fridays at 8 on Peachtree TV.
Why do you feel it's so important to support Black-owned businesses?
Some of Atlanta's best Black-owned businesses take center stage.
Whoa!
Black Friday Report.
Okay. Oh!
Only on Atlanta's own Peachtree TV.
Now, as I mentioned, over the weekend, the funeral service for Jackie O was held. During the ceremony, DC Young Fly gave a heartfelt speech, making this the first time we've heard from DC since the shocking incident. The service was streamed online for loved ones and fans who showed their unwavering support for DC Young Fly and his family. Let's take a look.
And if you're a firm believer, then if God got, his hands on you, then we're going to be straight. And that's one thing I know, that we going to be straight, Do we understand? No. But I don't lead by the flesh. I lead by the spirit. And sometimes life hits you with a curveball, but, that's for anybody out here that's going through something, man. So, you got to stick it through, man. I don't really care for the applause. I just want you to get the message. You got to stick it through no matter what you're going through in life, man, because somebody always going through something worse than you. We here today, but somebody going through burying 3-4 folks at the same time. But we got to understand what she did and her input in what she did on this earth, man. She made sure our kids was loving each other. They praying. I'm talking about at a young age. I don't even know what Nana be saying, but she praying. I sit here to tell you, anybody, man, if you're going through any and everybody, don't matter what's going on in life, just make sure the relationship is good. For those who know me, they know I got a great spirit. I give support and I try to uplift you in all type of ways. I feel good when other people feel good around me. So when I really be saying I be taking energy from people, I be dead serious. If you happy, I'm over there soaking up the energy. I love you, Jack. These kids are beautiful, man. God granted us strength to have 3. I was trying to have 7 more. But I love you, girl. And I want our kids to understand that you had a beautiful soul. And you didn't leave us. Your spirit is with us. You still here. We got a beautiful support system. Cause they came out.
Now, Pierre, everybody showed up to show their support and their love at Jackie O's funeral. As I mentioned, they also streamed it online for their loved ones and fans. And of course, people had things to say. Some people were in support and loved what DC had to say, but shockingly, a lot of people were actually upset about him making jokes and saying that, you know, he was making it about him and, you know, just all the things that are crazy and absurd. But let me get your thoughts. What's your reaction after hearing from DC Young Fly?
It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. What you would have did, how you wanted it, when you're not in that position. He just lost a partner, life partner, the mother of his children. He's not a speech writer, you know. Everything's not gonna be perfect that comes out of his mouth the way you may want it to come out. For those who weren't happy with how he spoke, you know, DC, just the fact that he was even up there to be able to speak, you have to give him credit for that. I mean, you know, that's a huge loss in someone's life. I don't know if people understand that unless you've been in that same position, lost your spouse or your loved one or the mother of your children. But I think he did an incredible job. You know, he kept levity, a little comedy. He's a comedian. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to laugh. It's okay. You're celebrating someone's life. You know, it doesn't have to be drawn out negative, everybody crying and sobbing and stuff. It doesn't have to be that way, you know. When I go, I want people to be laughing at my funeral, joking, having a good time. I'm gone, whatever, you know, I left that indelible mark of comedy on the world. I don't want you to give me, you know, everybody sad and sober and somber. But with him, I think he did a heck of a job. I praise him for that. So to me, the fact that he went up there and spoke, you know, I give him kudos for that. And I think he did a great job. And he spoke the way he wanted to speak, not the way we wanted him or someone else wanted him to speak. He spoke the way he had to speak, and he spoke the way he wanted to speak. So it worked for me.
Yeah, no, I thought it was beautiful. I think, you know, like you said, even seeing him have the courage to go up there and speak at a time like this, like, I couldn't imagine, and a lot of other people couldn't imagine, all the people online that are saying, oh, he should have done this, or, you know, you never know until you're in that situation. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I can't tell you how many funerals I've been to, and, you know, you hear the jokes. I feel like that's just a part of our culture. You hear the jokes, you hear, you know, things that you knew about the person and memories and things like that. And I'm with you, Pierre. When it's my time, don't wear all black. I want a party, like, festival me out. Like, I want, like, celebrate my life. I don't want you mourning at the time. Let's have a celebration.
Yeah, I like that. Celebrate me out. And what you say, festival me out? I like that.
Yeah, no, it's real. But all the love to DC Young Fly and Jackie O's family, to those kids, man, we send our love, our condolences. You know, like you said, you know, she was a mother. You know, she was DC's partner. So, you know, they're going to have to grow up without their mom. So sending all the love and support to DC Young Fly, those kids, family, and friends that are surrounding, because this is a tough time. But I think DC Young Fly, as he said, he has his faith and he's leading with that. So all the love there. Now, before we head out, Pierre, I see we're matching today. So, you know, I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the love. How was your show in Charlotte? You had a crazy, I know, weather. There was a air quality advisory out, but how was the show and what do you have coming up?
Came out, we had a good time, a real good time. I like Charlotte, man. I'm gonna go back there again. Great time, you know. So yeah, it was a great time. I appreciate the people. So thank y'all for coming out and taking pictures. And I got some video we're gonna prop up on some platforms. So yeah.
And what do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
You can follow me at Comic Pierre, where y'all been following me at COMICPIERRE. Thank you for all the inboxes y'all give me and stuff like that. There's a lot of love. I appreciate it. Can't do everything y'all want me to do. A lot of people ask me for stuff, you know, like, hey, dude. But you can catch me in Yonkers, the Yonkers Comedy Club, June 22nd through the 24th. I'll be in New York, the Yonkers, you know, from DMX and the Locks and Mary J and all of them came from. So I'll be putting it down. Yonkers Comedy Club, June 22nd to the 24th. I'll be in the place to be, live and flashy as I always am and funny. So catch me there.
Absolutely. And a couple days after that, June 27th, we're actually doing another live show here in Atlanta, Georgia. More details to come. I'm really excited about this. Pierre's gonna be in the house. Capone's gonna be in the house. Yamanika is coming from New York. So I'm really excited to have us all together on one stage. And you can actually join us for this live show, June 27th, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. More details to come, so stay tuned for that. I'm so excited to see you, Pierre. I can't wait.
I'm different live.
And he is. And he is.
You can't mute me or cut me out. You can't cut me out or mute me live.
Well, thank you for chiming in on this topic, Pierre. You heard from us. Now we'll hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the topics that we touched on today? We have Jamie Foxx, we have D.L. Hughley reacting to Donald Trump's second indictment, and then last and certainly not least, DC Young Fly speaking out for the first time at Jackie O's funeral. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in those comments.
In the comments. June 27th, we'll see y'all live. We live, baby.
All right, y'all, Rick Smiley Morning Show. Hey, 3 minutes after the hour, y'all. Man, I want to dedicate that one to DC Young Fly, great young comedian, buried his party on yesterday. I prayed for DC Young Fly. I prayed for his kids. And what a wonderful young man. I had the pleasure to know him and work with him for years. Man, it was such a trigger to watch him go through that, because these are like your nephews in the game. Because they're 2 generations behind us from when we started. So definitely want to keep him lifted up in prayer.